What an exciting competition this has been. There's no surprises for guessing that Indian fans are, of course, looking for this, win at the end of the day. Now, India is, of course, one step ahead, having won the 4th Test match. Absolutely brilliant. A lot of the predictions that we had made on the show might have come true, might have not come true. We will analyze all of that. लेकिन आप लोगों ने क्या सोचा इस मैच के बारे में? आपको क्या लगा with the kind of performances, individual performances? आपको सबसे ज्यादा किसका performance अच्छा लगा? मुझे बताइए in the comment section, and to continue talking about everything to do, of course, with this particular 4th Test match. Let me bring on Pratyay Tiwari, who's joining us on the show back once again. Pratyay, welcome back. What is happening right now in terms of the mood? Everybody has this big smile on their face, but a quick start. Just how does it look?
Well, sensational victory, absolutely. And Test cricket, we absolutely love you, because this is the format. There could be the IPL, there could be T20 cricket, you can have super overs and you can have everything. But to have this kind of tense drama on a 5th day, this is the absolute beauty of this format. And that is why this is always going to be the first and foremost and the best format ever. And of course, I mean, the kind of things that we were talking about in the pre-show, a couple of our friends, they were predicting a draw, but then from there on, for England to slide the way I've said that with England you can never count out a collapse, and look at that, exactly as it happened. I mean, they lost 4 or 5 wickets for a passage of just 6 runs in the middle there, and ever since then it was just a downslide. But what a brilliant and magnificent victory this for India, because the chips were down, of course, and after that kind of the loss that they had to suffer at Headingley, coming back, an innings defeat that was actually very kind of a shameful defeat for India, and then to come back, a roaring comeback, 157 runs, massive victory, 2-1, and now they go to Manchester. I don't think that they could have done any better than this. Simply sensational performance.
This only just gets better from here on, right? The competition has now got all the more exciting, of course. And like Pratyay said, you're not winning by like 10, 15, 20 runs. You're really, stepping it up in terms of that. And I think in the last, they knew that they had it, but they still, wanted to go one step ahead and be, sure of that particular wicket. Everybody was waiting. I think after Joe Root's, wicket did go, I think there was a sigh of relief for some time. And then looking at, of course, the other batsmen also not performing. Of course, we'll talk about England, we'll talk about India, we'll talk about the star performers. Of course, there'll be so much more to discuss in terms of now the playing 11 of the 5th Test match as well. One test is over, we're already excited for the next one. I think that's the kind of competition this is. Having said that, आप लोगों को क्या लगा? जैसे कि मैंने आपको पूछा, आपको क्या लगा टीम इंडिया के मतलब परफॉर्मर्स के, of course in terms of the first एक hour में it did not go the way most people expected, and then there was a sudden twist. तो आप लोगों को क्या लगा in terms of individual performances? किसका प्रदर्शन सबसे बेहतरीन था? मुझे बताइए कमेंट सेक्शन में. अगर आपको कोई क्वेश्चंस, एनालिसिस जो भी करना है, गौरव, प्रत्यय और राकेश भी हमें जल्दी ज्वाइन करने वाले हैं. Do not forget to use that opportunity to put it in the comment section. We'll take all of that, all congratulatory messages. In terms of course, congratulating Team India from all over the world. Doesn't matter where you guys are from. I see all your comments. Also, in terms of 78 minutes silent for haters is what somebody says in terms of India having won. But of course, there's a lot of speculation about the combination that will happen for the 5th Test match. उसके बारे में भी हम बात करेंगे. लेकिन on that note, let me bring on another very happy Indian fan, and of course our expert and guest on the show, Gaurav Tripathi, joining us once again in the studios. हमने देखा भी था that draw, जैसे प्रत्यय ने बोला था, draw के बारे में भी बात हो रही थी. लेकिन आपको क्या लगा? किस point पे you thought, okay, now it's not in Team England's hand? कौन सा वो turning point था according to you?
आई थिंक इनिशियल हाफ में भी हम बात कर रहे थे कि पहले फर्स्ट आवर में इंडिया को विकेट लेना जरूरी है, लेकिन हमने देखा कि इंग्लैंड के बल्लेबाजों ने, ओपनर्स ने पिछले दिन बनाए थे 77 रन्स और उसके ऊपर 23 रन्स और जोड़ दिए थे. इसका मतलब इनिशियली इंडिया ब्रेक थ्रू नहीं पा पाया. तो उसके बाद हमने ना देखा था कि लंच में इंग्लैंड गया था 128 पे 2. तो आई थिंक एक ट्रैक पे जहां पर 2 सेशन में टीम इंडिया ने 2 विकेट लिए हैं, बहुत लोग उनको बैक नहीं कर रहे थे कि वो आने वाले 2 सेशन में 8 विकेट ले लेंगे. बट दैट्स व्हाट दे डिड, एंड एज अ रिजल्ट वी आर 2-0 अप इन द सीरीज. एंड अब कुछ भी हो जाए, इंग्लैंड अगर लास्ट मैच जीत भी जाता है तो ये सीरीज ड्रॉ होगी। एंड बहुत सारे ऐसे ओकेजन होते नहीं है कि हम सेना कंट्रीज में जाते हैं एंड एक मैच बचा हुआ है एंड विल सी इंडिया इन एन अनबीटेबल पोजीशन। ये अर्लियर दिस ईयर अगर ऑस्ट्रेलिया की बात करें तो वो लास्ट टेस्ट मैच डिसाइसिव टेस्ट मैच था, बट जो आने वाला 5th टेस्ट मैच है उसमें इंग्लैंड अपने सर्वाइवल के लिए फाइट करेगा और रादर इंडिया विक्ट्री के लिए। सो आई थिंक डेफिनेटली बहुत अच्छा परफॉर्मेंस था। बात करें टर्निंग पॉइंट की, आई थिंक जो सेकंड सेशन में गेंदबाजी हुई इंडियन बॉलर्स के द्वारा, दैट वाज आई मीन फिनोमिनल। रविंद्र जडेजा, जसप्रीत बुमराह, जिस तरीके से उन्होंने गेंदबाजी की है, स्पेशली बुमराह का जो विकेट जो उन्होंने जॉनी बेस्टो को लिया, आई मीन जॉनी बेस्टो के कैलिबर का बैट्समैन अपना बल्ला सामने भी नहीं ला पाए, तो ये दर्शाता है कि बुमराह ने कितनी अच्छी गेंदबाजी की है इस ट्रैक में। सो द सेकंड सेशन ऑफ द डे changed the complex contrast of the match entirely, and as we see that India have emerged victorious in London.
That's right. And I see, everybody, of course, I'm also looking cautiously on my phone. Sorry, guys, because, of course, there's so many comments coming in terms of, how India, of course, has performed. Everybody has a lot of theories. And like I just mentioned, itna exciting series hai because just with the fact that we're still digesting that India has won, we're looking at the analysis, all the predictions for, the 5th test match has already started, which is, I guess, amazing. All cricket fans are enjoying such a competition. It's been quite an eventful 4th test match because it has been like a pendulum, right? You're like, once you think that the first innings you looked at it, it looked like it was going in Team England's favor. Then you look at it, now we know what the result is. On that note, let me take a quick look at the scorecard so we can tell you, some of the exceptional performances as well in terms of course, we had the scores of both the innings, so 191 over there and then 466, and of course on this side being 290 and 210. Star performers, of course, we've spoken about, whether it's Rohit Sharma, Chris Wokes, or even Haseeb Hameed, who did manage to really get going for England. Umesh Yadav on the other hand, 3 for 60. इनके बारे में थोड़ा सा बात करते हैं because जब उनका नाम लिया गया था in the playing 11, जब हम अपने पहले दिन के जो प्री एनालिसिस कर रहे थे तो बहुत ही ज्यादा डाउट्स था कि मतलब इनको क्यों लिया गया है, उनको इतने ज्यादा in terms of अगर दूसरे ऑप्शंस देखा जाए तो why was this, and then I think there was a comment saying we'll wait and see until the end because that's what happens. If they perform, then it was a great decision. If they don't perform, then ये तो नहीं होना चाहिए था. But of course, I guess in terms of the playing 11 combination that Virat Kohli and of course the management went with has clearly paid off. So I'll come to you, Pratyay, on that to summarize the kind of combination that they went with. Great thing because they've won. Yes. Yeah, but anything else you want to point out?
See, definitely Umesh Yadav's inclusion now in the hindsight, no one can deny. I mean, 3 wickets in either innings and 6 wicket haul for him. And on comeback, I mean, yes, I agree that he played this game against the select county 11. That was the warm-up game. And if I recall it correctly, he took a couple of wickets or 3 wickets in that game as well. But if you go back, the last that he played was way back in MCG. That was against Australia in the Border Gavaskar Trophy. So this was a huge long gap after which he was coming, and it's never easy to do what he did. I mean, the way he bowled, I guess the entire performances of the Rohit Sharmas, the Jasprit Bumrahs, the Ravindra Jadejas, they have sort of kind of overshadowed Umesh Yadav's role in this team. But we cannot forget that he was the man who got Joe Root's wicket in the first innings. And those kind of things, by the end of the 5th day, you often do not look back at those things that happened on the first day or maybe on the second day. But these are the things that actually entirely script the entire story of the match. So who knows? I mean, if had it not been for him, if that wicket would not have been taken back then, probably England could have managed to add something because he was the in-form batsman. So these are the things, it kind of starts a domino effect. And then gradually things kind of start to unfurl that way, and then we see the final result. But of course,
Go ahead.
Yeah, and as I said, that if you look at the Indian performance, Indian scorecard, everyone in this game, more often than not, you would see that they stepped up. If you see there were runs from the lower order, if you see there were runs from the top order, even in the wicket score, if you look at the wickets column of the team in this game as well, in the second innings, every single bowler has chipped in. You look at Shami, you look at Umesh Yadav, he has got wickets. You look at Bumrah, he has got wickets. You look at Jadeja, he has got wickets. Everyone who kind of, so this is what we call a comprehensive performance, and this is what we call a comprehensive victory, because as I said, after being down and out from an innings defeat, this is the stuff of absolute champions, because this is what good sides do. And this is what Indian side did in Australia as well. This is what the Indian side did against England at home. Lost by 227 runs the first test match in Chennai, but then bounced back with a 317 run victory and then went on to win the series. So this series, this entire India under the leadership of Virat Kohli, they have just proven it time and again, that whenever they would be thrown under the pump, they are going to bounce back with double the power, double the energy, and double the vigor, and they keep on doing it. And as fans, what else do we want? What else can we expect from our team when they do so well? Of course, everyone feels good, and I think this is also the victory of Test cricket. Just to add one point to it, to all those who say we should have 4-day Test matches now, entire series.
Yeah.
Look at this entire series. Nottingham.
Yeah.
Look at there was just this odd occasion of Headingley when the match ended on day 4. But if you look at Nottingham, you look at Lords, you look at the Oval right now. Every single game
Yeah.
going into the 5th day. So it is all in all not just India's victory; it is the victory of the format as well for me.
Okay, that's quite a statement to be, of course, making. But like Pratyay, of course, has been, in terms of course, his profession, he's associated with the game. But even as a fan, I think when he kind of analyzes what's really happened for a time when, we become so used to the format of T20 cricket, when Test cricket gets so exciting, there's nothing more than a cricket fan at the end of the day, who get, excited. So it's actually interesting to see in terms of how India has performed in the 4th Test match. But having said that, there was one particular comment that Pratyay made about Virat Kohli. So I'll take a cue. Let's talk a little bit about the captaincy in terms of that. If you could also take a look at Virat Kohli having performed in the 4th Test match. I'll come to you, Gaurav. Okay, so there was this lot of discussion about that much awaited century, which we're also waiting, but let's also give him a little credit where it's due. Having got, of course, that got that half century in the first innings and also getting that 44. But to analyze a little bit in terms of there is still something going wrong for him in terms of giving away his wicket. So what do you think should be the strategy for the 5th Test match now?
No, obviously, if you dissect his dismissals in the recent times, you will see that there's that corridor of uncertainty outside the off stump. He has been constantly nicking the ball over there and giving the catches to Slip and the wicketkeeper. So obviously, there's a pattern of dismissals, and England bowlers have done well to keep him quiet so far in this series. If after 4 matches, a player of Virat Kohli's caliber is scoring 200, 250 runs in the course of 4 matches, then obviously he has done a below par. He has not been at his best. So I think England bowlers, if I have to talk about the entire series, they have done well to keep him quiet. But in this particular Test match, I think Virat Kohli made some changes. He was quite cautious with the corridor of uncertainty outside the off stump. He was not nicking a lot of balls over there. But in the first inning, especially, he looked very fluent. He looked very nice. Obviously, he got out after scoring a half century. But during his stay at the crease, he looked very comfortable, which is a great sign for India. In the second innings as well, he got 44. I remember in the last test, he got a fighting 50 in the second innings. So I think these are good signs of India, and we might see, if not that 71st century, then a big knock round the corner. It might well come in the last test match because Virat Kohli has a knack of performing in big clashes, and I am backing him to do well in Manchester.
Well, of course, that excitement is still much awaited. Right? It's 2021. Up to matlab ek century banta hai, at least in the 5th and final test. Having said that, of course, we'll have to also continue talking about other star performers. But for that, before we get into that, let me bring on our other star guest also on our show, who of course is Rakesh Devareddy, a cricket coach as well as cricket analyst. Welcome back, Rakesh.
Yeah.
Great to have you. In terms of course, there's so much to be talking about. I think we've covered pretty much other aspects of it, but I would like to come to you about Shardul Thakur. We cannot have this particular session without discussing about him. If you could quickly take a look at his stats. Let's start off with that with you, Rakesh. In terms of course, his inclusion, his performance, it's not just the bowling, also the way he's really performed in terms of, at the way he's done with the bat as well. What do you think of him in general as a cricketer in the Test format series?
The one thing I can say is he is a cricketer who has a lot of confidence in himself, even if somebody is not believing in himself. So after watching this, I was trying to know what exactly he went through his childhood, how was he training and all those things, because that things also matters, how a cricketer mold himself, because being self-confident is something which is not an easy thing to achieve for any person, not in cricket but in any field. So I was talking to Prithvi Shaw's coach, Mr. Prashant Shetty, who is also a coach. I mean, not a regular coach, but he was also in touch with Shardul Thakur. He says this guy has lot of confidence in himself. Doesn't matter what the situation is, he doesn't matter what the game he is playing, doesn't matter what level he is playing. So that is something which has built in himself in natural. Even if you see, Sachin Tendulkar also posted a post saying that Shardul Thakur has played a straight drive like how I played, but I cannot play a drive like how Shardul Thakur plays. So what else compliments you want? You got a compliment from legendary cricketer. So one good thing what I can say is he has a lot of confidence in himself, and he has a plan by himself that what exactly he wants to do and which can give a result to a team. So one word to describe him, to describe Shardul Thakur is a self-confident guy who believes in himself and do anything whatever the situation it is.
The Lord Thakur himself, right? And I think
Yeah.
he has, of course, justified his inclusion in the team. Having said that, let's take a quick look at, of course, the Indian bowling summary today. If we could take a quick look at that, and I'll come to Pratyay. In terms of the bowling, we did see some magic, whether of course it's with Thakur, with Jadeja, Bumrah, as well as Yadav. One person where I think could be expected was Siraj, but I guess it was just not this time. What really went wrong there, or if not wrong, what do you think did not work in his favor rather?
See, ever since that Lord's Test, when he took that 8-wicket haul in that entire Test match, he has not looked at the best of his rhythm. He took, I guess, only a couple of wickets because did not get a chance to bowl again. India lost by an innings, but he took a couple of wickets at Headingley, and here he has not managed to take a wicket in the second innings. But I think that it's not always necessary for the same player to step up, because as Rakesh said, that this time it was Shardul Thakur, that time is what Mohammad Siraj, and this is what is the beauty of this team is now increasingly becoming, because every time you would see different players stepping up. At Lords, we saw that brilliant partnership between Mohammad Shami and Jasprit Bumrah that entirely changed the course of the match. Here you saw
Right.
Shardul Thakur coming alongside Rishabh Pant, who was under the scanner, who was being criticized for playing reckless cricket. I have myself been critical of him, but then to show the kind of composure he did, to show that kind of class that he did, to curb his instincts and the way he batted. So it was a clear case when, if one player was not probably being able to fire at his very best, someone else comes
Yeah.
around and just has that hand around them, and they take them along. And that is what any team sport would always teach you, that you might not have
Yeah.
your best of days, but that is when the others need to step up. And speaking of one person in the bowling summary, 3 wickets for Umesh Yadav, a couple for Jasprit Bumrah as well. But again, the best of things that Shardul Thakur has done, he managed to get out the biggest, I would say, the bone of contention, that is Joe Root. He managed to take that wicket. I feel that the kind of form Shardul Thakur is right now in, there is nothing that the guy cannot do. He's scoring runs with the bat, he's fielding, he's taking wickets. There is absolutely nothing that he's not being able to do. And with that kind of form, I mean, it's a huge boost for the entire team when you see, because as we were even discussing in the pre-show, in the post-show yesterday, that probably India's that search of a seam bowling all-rounder, he is right now ticking every single box with such brilliant precision, because he's doing everything that you want your number 6-7 batsman to do. He's getting you the
Yeah.
crucial breakthroughs. And whenever we talk about that person, there's this magic, वो एक जादू जैसा उनके पास में है कि वो रन्स रोके या ना रोके, कुछ भी करे या ना करे, but he's someone who just somehow manages to get the wickets. So today, definitely yes, the wickets of Jasprit Bumrah that he took off Oli Pope and Johnny Bairstow, all of those were important. But still, until and unless we did not get the wicket of Joe Root, there was still an odd chance that they might as well end up playing the overs. Even if it looked
Right.
difficult, it was still on. But who came up? It was again Shardul Thakur. So I think that this particular game was entirely defined
Yeah.
by him. His 57 in the first innings got India to a situation, probably because if he would have missed out there, India would have ended up conceding a bigger lead. And then again a 60-run knock, then again picking up wickets. So I think he was absolutely sensational, at his absolute sensational best. And I think in the second innings, the kind of performance every bowler showed, because Jadeja, we of course knew, we even discussed, all of us in fact mentioned that he is going to hold the key for India because of the footholds outside the off stump and this being a 5th day track. But I am actually very surprised to see the way Indian pacers bowled. And with the old ball, in fact, it was a situation when India opted against taking the new ball. They did not take the new ball because the old ball was doing so much. I think it was a very
Yeah.
comprehensive bowling performance. All in all the bowlers taking off. And I don't think that Mohammad Siraj would be too worried. There is another match to go, and I think that he has already delivered one match-winning performance in this particular series at Lords. So he would not be too worried about this.
Okay. One thing, of course, that we have spoken even in the pre-match show was the fact that there was a lot of expectation from the middle order lineup of Team England. So if you could take a quick look at the batting summary of England, I'll come to Gaurav. If quick thoughts on that. Of course, Hassie has contributed well, Rory Burns, but Joe Root, of course, when I think it's just pretty much that situation where both the times it was really expected from him. I guess it did not happen back to back. Even with Moeen Ali, we did speak about the fact that probably Bairstow and Ali would be, adding over there. But in terms of wickets, I think Pratyay did speak about the fact that once Joe Root's wicket had gone, pretty much kind of changed the game. Or do you think it was the partnership that broke between Burns and Amit? When did you think that this is now going in Team India's favor?
I think right from the first wicket went down. I mean, the England openers, Hasib Hamid and Rory Burns, they added 100 runs for the first wicket, exact 100 runs. And after half an hour, we see the scorecard. England are 147 for 6. So definitely
Yeah.
it was just not Joe Root. I think Joe Root was the 6th or 7th wicket to go down. It means that England had already suffered a collapse before when Joe Root was out in the middle. Had Joe Root gotten support from other batsmen, someone like Chris Wokes, Moeen Ali, or Johnny Bairstow, things would have been different. But yeah, if and but we can add anything saying that if this would happen or that would have happened. But that didn't happen. Pressure piled upon him, and we saw that Shardul Thakur took his wicket. And I think that spell, the first 15-20 minutes of the second session, that entirely changed the compass of the game because Ravindra Jadeja, Jasprit Bumrah, these guys hunted in tandem and just rattled England's middle order, which completely shifted the momentum on India's favor. And as we saw that India registered a comprehensive win. I want to add one thing about Shardul Thakur. I mean, really, I have been following him since a while, and it's just not beyond understanding that how is such a regular wicket taker. I mean, just dissect his bowling skills. Does he have a great bouncer? No. Does he know to swing the ball both ways? Precisely, no, not yet. Does he have a Yorker? No. But look at his wicket-taking abilities across formats. He has a knack of taking wickets, and as far as he's doing that, then it doesn't matter that how's the way. Steve Smith has a very unorthodox technique. He averages 60 plus in Test cricket. So as far as you're giving result, you're a match winner for India, and you deserve praises.
Right, and I think he's of course done extremely well with the bat and the bat, which also talks about the future of Indian cricket in terms of what the youngsters can do. Because, like I said, I think even initially one of the analysis that we did, that in terms of tail enders was also a worry, but that also was changed, particular in this 4th Test match. So I guess from who you're expecting, that was not happening, and who you do not expect, like we made that statement, जो मतलब पढ़ाई करके आए थे वो तो कभी नहीं हुआ, जो सिलेबस के बाहर ही सब कुछ आया था pretty much if you see throughout this series. But Rakesh, I'll come to you. One of these interesting things about being a part of the cricket community is all these kind of interesting things that people also talk about in terms of this being historic, for the fact that 50 years later Team India has registered another historic win at the Oval. And in terms of course summarizing what that means, looking at the 4th Test match overall before we wrap up, and of course looking ahead at the 5th one, I still see this comment from of course one of our very loyal viewers. I do see that Rao talking again about Ashwin. There was this comment on this particular cricket community. Why I want to bring it up is because now they say, after looking at the combination that India went with, it's really worked exceptionally well, and there's no space for Ashwin. Rahane, I mean, is another conversation altogether. How do you look at it, summarizing this before today?
See, as the result favored India, I think now everybody will be keeping a little bit quiet in terms of Ajinkya Rahane, I would say. And I still believe that Indian team will continue to give him a place in the last Test match as well. So that is about Ajinkya Rahane. Because there's nothing more to discuss about his batting, because we've been seeing he's continuously failing, he's struggling with his technique, there's no confidence in the body language, so there are no other points to talk about. And when it comes to Ashwin, not just today or day before yesterday, we have been talking about this thing from quite a while, and I've been saying that It's just purely based on the team combination. They might play. Who doesn't have the who doesn't have the misunderstandings when you are there in a group of people? Everybody will have, not just in cricket. So that is also gone. So, and coming to the 50-year thing, when the last time India won a test match here, and after 50 years India winning the test match now in the Oval, I mean, it is absolutely a teamwork, I would say. Look at the first innings. India got all out for 191 and conceding a lead of 99, and then putting a target of 360 plus in front of England, and getting winning the game by 157, a big margin. And before this game, they lost a game, and before that, they won a game. So there is something in this team. It is not just that one player who is performing, or it is not one or two players. Whenever it is required, when there is a requirement that okay, the whole team has to perform to win the game, then all of them are coming up and then putting their wholehearted performance in the game and winning the game. So absolutely, it's a team effort. And if you look at every player, they are match winners. They can win the game on their own day single handedly. So it is just
Right.
that the proper teamwork, and it's a combination. Maybe I think it is right from when Saurav Ganguly took the captaincy of Indian cricket team. That's where the Indian cricket team has completely molded or completely changed. The players taking up the challenge by themselves, because earlier we didn't used to see many players in one team taking challenges. There were only very few occasions where multiple players used to perform and win the game. At that time, it was more or less like one player performing better and that winning the game. But right now, I
Correct.
think because of the formats, or because of the games that particular players are playing, and because of everything has grown up. So it is all about players performing, coming together, and giving the results to India. So I think we have to give the credit to every player. But we are the people who talked about India saying, "Oh, India got all out for 191. Indian batsmen are not performing." So that's cricket for us. So yeah.
Right. And anything can happen, of course. But one person, of course, who managed to also get that maiden overseas test done has to be Rohit Sharma. And of course, absolutely, deserves the player of the match award in terms of how he's done exceptionally. I don't think anybody here would have. Do any of you think that somebody else deserved it, or do you think Rohit was the apt decision? Anybody wants to take that? If you guys do have any comments on it,
Yeah,
I
I
think
think looking at this thing, it looks like if you look at the Shardul Thakur, he has took crucial wickets and he has
yeah,
scored runs at
absolutely,
crucial time.
yeah,
absolutely.
But it's really hard to pick, because Rohit Sharma was the guy who laid foundation in the second innings. Second innings. Otherwise,
right.
India
Yeah.
couldn't have managed to score that much. But in first innings, if Shardul couldn't have added that half century, India would have got all out for 120 or 130, and the situation would have been different. And after Rohit scoring 120, if Shardul wouldn't have come up and scored that, the target would have been less. The approach of England would have been in a different way, and the situations would have been different. So I think both of them deserves the man of the match. Like IPL, we have to put man of the match and something like
Or
that.
maybe I
And
have a better idea. Maybe we should have like an audience poll,
yeah,
at that time, and then we should give options, and then everybody is happy. But having said that,
But I think
ending
that
on today's
it's not for nothing that we call cricket a batsman's game, because we have seen this very often. Very often
yeah, I think
we end
Rakesh
up
has
seeing,
pointed out that too,
yeah,
right?
it's kind of a batsman game, but all the ifs and buts that Rakesh actually had put up, this again proves the point that how this is a team sport, because each of their contribution was so important. If you look at them, you cannot look at them in isolation. It was because of their collective effort. But I think that the kind of wickets that he managed to take, I think it
Still
should have
crucial
been
ones.
indeed. Yeah, I mean, I understand it was the platform that Rohit Sharma had managed to set, and it was a big century again. But still, if you see the kind of because Shardul Thakur did it twice in 2 innings, and with the ball as well, not just with the bat. So you have to kind of
Right.
see and judge how much of an impact did the player made on the entire course of the match, not just in 1 innings. So maybe by that logic, he should have been chosen one.
We talk about the fact that cricket is an unexpected game, but it also brings across people who don't watch cricket also together, because I see, two people who have commented here about a poll. I recognize the both of you, and I'm very excited that you have joined us on this live session to talk about cricket.
but
Having
one
said
thing,
that, what, yeah, Rakesh?
how many of you watched extra innings yesterday during the post day? Sanjay Manjrekar was the one guy who told, "I'm expecting a collapse from England." And today, during the pre-match, Sunil Gavaskar
Yeah.
was the one who said India is going to win after tea.
Yeah, I heard that. I
Experts for
heard the
some
Sunil
reason, na?
Gavaskar.
Yeah.
I
Gaurav
heard the
has
And
something
Sunil
to
this,
say.
Gavaskar one,
and
and
we
Yeah,
generally
experts for
don't like.
some reason, they have played the game, so they know
And
better than us, I think.
most of us really think about Sanjay Manjrekar. Why does he comment too many things? But on a lighter note, if you follow him, if you follow his comments and all those, for most of the times he makes relevant comments and he makes point-to-point comments. But after making all those, he just comes up with one thing which makes controversy.
Which ruins.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
his analyses are really good and which are really apt to the situation.
Right, and I don't think in terms of course, talking about them, but also our analysis, our experts, our predictions have also been bang on. So I would like to take a moment to thank all the three of you. I mean, as far as, of course, talking about the test series going forward, it only gets exciting. Like I said, we're already discussing the fifth one, which means that we'll have to really wait and watch what's going to be happening in that. But having said that, I, of course, want to thank all our experts for joining us on the show. I hope all of you had, of course, fun joining us as well as giving us your predictions, your questions. We will, of course, be back for the fifth test match to be deciding what is going to be happening between these two teams. But until then, of course, stay tuned to CricTracker for the latest news in the world of cricket. We will see you very soon.